What do you mean revoked?
It's revoked. Don't count, don't work. Got a syntax error on line 13.
Ah, well, is there anything I can do about this?
Go back to school.
Oh, hey y'all, Bradius here. You've caught me in the middle of my studies. I've been told they need to go back to school, but they didn't specify how far back I needed to go. And since all of the local elementary schools have stopped returning my calls, I'm bringing the learning to me, and I'm gonna need a place to put it. The only other option I can imagine is learning on the go, and we all know that that's a myth. Somebody call Zeus.
The video game industry had a problem in its early days. They only had one target audience: children, more specifically tweens and teenagers. I mean, sure, the NES was marketed as a family system, with the name literally being Family Computer or Famicom in Japan. But every single video game advertisement at the time had a teenager playing the latest game for the system or something. This was a trend for the first few generations, and when the infamous video game crash hit in 1983, it needed to change, and fast. There were two markets left to conquer to overcome the dependence on teens. For the adults,
Guns!
but for the people who freaked the f out when this was presented, there was nothing. So in the late 80s and early 90s, there was an explosion of edutainment content out there. If you don't know what that means, it's like a candy bar, but filled with spinach.
This is the Leapfrog Leapster. While it was one of the later systems built around this concept, it was one of the most popular by far. I actually had this before I had my hands on any Nintendo systems, and I assume that I'm not alone. Parents have always absolutely loved the idea of a video game that doubles as a school that doesn't need property taxes.
So picture this, you're a parent in the late 80s looking for a video game console for your kid. You could buy the NES for 180 bones, or you could get the VTech Socrates and 150 pounds of bananas.
The VTech Socrates was one of the first educational video game consoles out there.
While arguably better than an Atari, it was not great at running games. Seriously, this thing can run off of 6D batteries and apple juice. It also had a pretty sparse library with a handful of games included and only 9 available for purchase afterwards.
But that's not really the point of these systems. They're meant to teach out of the box, not to sell extra games. So that was pretty much every single educational video game system out there. With all that experience, I'd say I'm fit to get my diploma back. So you don't accept Leapfrog credits? Yeah, I'm just gonna use it to store bananas.